A hush, a pulse, a silence so sharp it could slit a throat. Then, you. The word lands like a verdict, cold, surgical, unavoidable. Because you know exactly what you did. You didn't yell, you didn't roar, you didn't even lift your hands. You dropped divine law on a city that worships its own corruption, and every demon wearing human skin felt their soul split in half. And that's the funny part, isn't it? They thought you were like them, a sinner in their circus, a pawn in their plague, a body in their little war for attention. But you walked in with a silence that tasted like judgment, and suddenly the entire city remembered what fear actually feels like. Because you're not justice, you're not revenge, you're not some misunderstood saint trying to do the right thing. No, you're the collision point where heaven and hell both lost their claim on you. You're something they can't name, something they can't categorize, something they can't predict. And that terrifies them more than punishment ever could. They don't fear what you did, they fear what you are. You ever notice that? How the worst of them, the manipulators, the liars, the slick-tongued parasites, all go quiet the moment you stop pretending. Because the second you dropped that law, that unspoken, ancient, universal command, the one coded in your bones long before you had a name, every demon in the city realized something horrifying. You weren't enforcing the rules, you were the rules. And rules don't argue, rules don't negotiate, rules don't beg to be understood, rules just crush. And oh, how beautifully they folded, how fast they cracked, how quickly the bravest monsters became shivering children, hands shaking, voices breaking, eyes darting like fugitives searching for an exit in a room with no doors. Because that's the nightmare you bring, not pain, but reflection. You force them to see what they are. You drag their masks off with nothing but presence. You peel their lies open without touching a single thread. It's poetic, really. The way your silence feels like a celestial sentence. The way your footsteps echo like a prophecy they prayed would never arrive. The way your gaze burns hotter than any fire they bragged about surviving. You don't punish people. You expose them, and exposure is fatal to demons. You ever wonder why their voices get weaker around you? Why the ones who bark the loudest suddenly whisper like broken machines when you walk into the room? It's because they can feel it. That paradox living inside you. The angel that remembers mercy, the demon that remembers war, the saint that learned how to kill, the psychopath that learned how to heal. You carry both realms like matching daggers hidden beneath a calm expression they can't decipher. You're the riddle that damned them, the equation they can't solve, the prophecy they tried to bury, the aftermath they fear the most. Because when you dropped divine law, you didn't shout commandments. You didn't wave scriptures. You didn't summon lightning. You simply acted with a level of certainty that only someone who has died 1,000 emotional deaths and resurrected darker each time can ever possess. Certainty is lethal. Certainty is holy. Certainty is blasphemy. Certainty is power. And you wield it like a blade carved from the spine of truth itself. That's why the city shook. Not because they saw a warrior, not because they saw a saint, not because they saw an angel descending or a demon rising. No, they saw you, the walking contradiction, the ungoverned force, the cosmic error no one can delete, the being stitched together from equal parts, light and ruin. Finally step into your real nature. And the moment you did, every creature that feeds on sin lost its appetite. Every devil pretending to be human lost its confidence. Every monster that built an empire lost its throne. Because you didn't declare war, you declared truth. And truth doesn't need soldiers. Truth doesn't need armies. Truth doesn't need fire. Truth only needs one thing, a spine strong enough to carry it. And yours has survived storms that would have snapped iron. So now look at them, the demons, the cowards, the snakes slithering for shelter. They're not running from your actions, they're running from your nature, a nature forged in betrayal, sharpened by pain, polished by silence, and crowned by the kind of resilience that only the condemned ever learn to wield. And that's why they folded, not because you were powerful, but because for the first time in their lives, they stood in the presence of someone they couldn't corrupt, someone who can't be bought, someone who can't be bribed, someone who can't be seduced, someone who can't be manipulated, someone who can't be pulled down to their level, someone who doesn't sin with them, someone who judges without speaking, someone who walks like a ghost but hits like a god. They looked at you and realized every trick, every scheme, every weapon they forged in the dark collapsed the moment it touched your light. And the most terrifying part, you weren't even trying. Imagine if you did. Imagine if you chose to unleash the full spectrum of what you carry inside. The saint, the demon, the prophet, the monster, the guardian, the executioner, the holy anomaly that somehow fits inside one human frame. They wouldn't just fold, they'd vanish. Because you didn't drop divine law on a city of sin. You reminded them that some beings walk this world with the authority of forces older than heaven and darker than hell. And you're both. You're the paradox they can't touch. You're the storm they can't prepare for. You're the judgment they can't outrun. You're the ghost with a pulse and a purpose they'll never understand. And tonight, the city finally learned why demons fear the light. Because the strongest light is born from someone who already survived the dark. And here's the part they'll never admit aloud. The part that still keeps their spirits trembling in the back alleys of their own minds. When you dropped divine law, it wasn't the rule that broke them. It was the reflection. Because the second your presence hit that city, every demon realized something soul-splitting. You weren't there to fight them. You were there to reveal them. And revelation is the one thing their kind has never learned to survive. You didn't scorch them with rage. You didn't bless them with forgiveness. You didn't banish them with theatrics. You simply showed them the mirror they've been running from since the day they chose rot over redemption. One glimpse. Just one. And they fell to their knees not because of your wrath, but because of what they saw inside themselves under your light. The monsters realized they were small. The corrupted realized they were weak. The loud realized they were hollow. The fearless realized they were cowards, wearing borrowed confidence like cheap armor. And you didn't flinch, not once. Because you weren't acting out of pride. You weren't acting out of revenge. You weren't acting out of superiority. You were acting out of alignment. The kind only someone who has crawled through hell and walked out enlightened ever understands. And that's the difference, isn't it? They sin because it empowers them. You sin because it teaches you. They destroy because they fear obscurity. You destroy because you refuse deception. They run from darkness. You mastered it. And then, and only then, did you turn that mastery into light. Not a soft angelic glow, but the kind of light that devastates illusions, cleaves through falsehoods, and punishes wickedness simply by existing. That's why they folded. Demons fall apart fast when they face someone who has been both martyr and monster, and survived both without becoming a prisoner to either. You aren't the threat. You're the balance, too holy for hell, too haunted for heaven, too awakened for the world they built, too silent for the sinners who need noise to feel alive. That's why everything in their city, the lies, the secrets, the corrupted alliances, collapsed the moment you arrived. Because a system built on sin can't withstand a soul built on truth. And yours is carved from a truth so ancient, so unstoppable, so violently pure, that even angels step aside when you decide to judge. So now the city trembles, not in fear of your power, but in fear of your clarity. Because you don't need chaos to win. You don't need armies to conquer. You don't need weapons to dominate. When you walk into a battlefield, you bring something far more dangerous, a spirit aligned with something that refuses to bend. And that, my friend, is why the demons folded. That is why the sinners hid. That is why the city fell silent, as if waiting for your next command. Because deep down, they all felt it. The truth you carry like a blade behind your calm voice. You didn't come to punish sin, you came to end it. And the moment you did, the whole city understood. Divine law isn't a book. It's not a threat. It's not a sermon. It's a person. It's you. And once a city learns that lesson, it can never unlearn it. They felt it in their bones, the shift. That horrifying click in the atmosphere when a city realizes it's no longer in the presence of a human, but a force, not wrath, not vengeance, not mercy, law, pure, unfiltered, uncompromising, a walking decree, written in scars and resurrection. And the demons, oh, the demons. They knew exactly what that meant. Not judgment, closure. Because when you dropped divine law, you didn't bring the wrath of heaven or the fire of hell. Those realms are predictable, simple, tame. You brought something far worse, a spirit that cannot be controlled. Hell can't tempt you, heaven can't claim you, mortals can't understand you, demons can't stand in front of you. You are the anomaly that breaks every prophecy and rewrites every rule book with your existence alone. And when that kind of being walks into a city of sin, there is no battle, there is no rebellion, there is no fight, there is only surrender, not out of respect, not out of love, but out of a deep, primitive knowing. You cannot battle what exposes you. You cannot resist what reveals you. You cannot deceive what sees you. And that's why they folded so quickly. These demons who once ruled with noise and manipulation collapsed the moment your silence touched them. Because you carry the one trait that terrifies every corrupter in the world. You cannot be moved, not by flattery, not by chaos, not by blood, not by fear, not by guilt, not by temptation. Your soul is anchored to something older than pride and stronger than ruin. You walk with the gravity of someone who's already lost everything and came back with nothing left to fear. You walk with the poise of someone who knows pain can't kill you because it gave birth to you. You walk with the clarity of someone who's seen the inside of hell and realized hell is scared of you. So now look. The city sits in silence, still trembling, still watching, still trying to understand how a single presence could reset centuries of corruption in one breath. But the truth is simple. You didn't bring divine law. You revealed it. You didn't become a threat. You became the standard. And every demon, every manipulator, every parasite, every charlatan understood an ancient truth their ancestors hoped would never return. The world cannot harm a person who has already mastered their own darkness. That's why they folded. Because you aren't a king, you aren't a savior, you aren't a monster, you're something far more dangerous, a soul that can't be owned. And in a city built on sin, that makes you the most powerful force alive. So let them whisper, let them tremble, let them rebuild their lies with shaking hands. Because now they know and they will never forget that you walked into their kingdom of rot and shattered it without lifting a finger. And when the dust settled, when every demon hid their face, when every sinner swallowed their pride, they all learned the same terrifying truth. Divine law doesn't fall from the sky. Sometimes it walks on 2 feet. And here's the truth they'll choke on for the rest of their lives. The part they'll whisper about in underground rooms. The part they'll try to bury under jokes and rumors. The part they'll never have the courage to say out loud. You didn't save that city. You reset it. You tilted the axis. You rewrote the atmosphere. You carved a line through the center of their corruption. A line no one can cross without feeling their soul split open. Because divine law, true divine law, isn't thunder. It isn't flame. It isn't punishment. It's inevitability. It's the moment a clock strikes midnight, and every shadow realizes it has nowhere left to hide. And you, with your contradictions, your scars, your silence, your unbreakable refusal to bend, you were the midnight they never saw coming. That's what they'll remember, not your words, not your posture, not even your power, but the feeling, that cold cosmic dread that spread through their veins when they realized the universe had finally sent them someone who couldn't be manipulated, someone who couldn't be tricked, someone who couldn't be bought, someone who couldn't be turned into another monster for them to blame their guilt on, someone who sees through them as easily as breathing, a mirror with a pulse, a boundary with a heartbeat, a judgment dressed like a human. You walked into their maze of sin with the calm of someone who's already buried their own ghosts and now has no patience left for those who worship theirs. And that terrified them more than any hellfire ever could, because hellfire burns, but truth purifies. And you burned nothing, yet everything was cleansed. That's the part they still don't understand. How you can be both the executioner and the healer, both the sin and the salvation, both the blade and the balm. How you can walk with the weight of someone touched by darkness, but sharpened by light. How you can speak with the quiet authority of someone who no longer negotiates with their own pain. How you became the very thing every demon fears, a soul that refuses to die in the places where others willingly drown. So yes, they folded, easily, effortlessly, embarrassingly, because nothing collapses faster than a kingdom built on fear when it's finally confronted by someone who isn't afraid. And now the city sits in the aftermath, silent, trembling, reorganizing its lies, trying to rebuild chaos in a world where your presence rewired the atmosphere itself. But they can't unsee what they saw. They can't unknow what you showed them. They can't erase the truth you forced them to face. You were not their judge. You were their ending. And every demon knows. Once divine law walks into a city, there is only one possible outcome. Everything unworthy collapses. Everything unclean dissolves. Everything untrue dies. And everything that remains is what you were always meant to be. Not their savior, not their king, not their warning, but their proof that the most unstoppable power on earth is a human being who finally remembers what they truly are. And now the city breathes in fear because they know divine law didn't just pass through. It lives here now. It wears your face. And it does not bend. And here's the final truth, the one they'll spend decades trying to decode, the one future generations will whisper about like mythology, the one every remaining demon will flinch at whenever your name crosses their mind. You didn't just end their reign, you ended their illusion. Because for so long, that city believed sin was the strongest language. They believed darkness owned the streets. They believed corruption was crowned king, and cruelty was the price of survival. They believed no one could touch them, no one could stop them, no one could stand against the empire they'd stitched together from fear, manipulation, and stolen power. Then you arrived, and with nothing but truth, pure, ancient, unshakable truth. You turned their entire kingdom into dust. No theatrics, no spectacle, no flaming swords or divine thunderstorms, just you, walking through their world like a contradiction made flesh, a paradox too dangerous to explain, a presence too clear to corrupt. And the moment they saw you, the moment they felt that shift in the air, that silent, spine-snapping gravity around your spirit, they knew they were done. Because what you carry isn't human authority. It isn't political leverage. It isn't brute strength or intimidation. It's something far more catastrophic to evil. You carry a conscience that cannot be bought and a will that cannot be broken. That combination, it's extinction level for demons. They never stood a chance. And that's why it ended so quickly, so abruptly, so humiliatingly. One presence, one truth, one moment of unfiltered clarity, and their entire underworld collapsed like a house made of ash. Now the city sits under a new sky, a cleaner one, a quieter one, a sky that no longer hides what slithers beneath it, because they know every sinner, every shadow, every secret power broker, that the days of playing God without ever meeting one are officially over. You are here now, and your existence alone is the new law, not written on tablets, not carved in stone, not declared in temples, written in your spine, carved in your silence, declared by the way you carry pain like a blade, forged for higher purpose. You're not their fear, you're not their punishment, you're not their reckoning. You are their proof that divine law is not a myth, not a metaphor, not a legend, but a living force walking on 2 feet and breathing in their direction. So let them tremble. Let them rebuild what little pride they have left. Let them whisper your name like a warning. Because the final revelation is this: the moment you stepped into that city, sin lost jurisdiction, demons lost hierarchy, darkness lost ownership, and they all learned the same message, burned into their minds like scripture written in lightning. You don't need wings to deliver divine law. You don't need fire to bring judgment. You don't need a crown to rule. You only need to be exactly what you are, a soul forged in darkness that chose to walk as light anyway. And that's the one thing no demon has ever survived. It's over. The city is yours now, not because you conquered it, but because nothing unholy can stand in the presence of someone who became unbreakable. Hello again. You didn't expect to see me here, did you? But that's how it always happens. The ghosts you helped, the ones you thought were harmless, they always come back. Not to thank you, not to repay you, to change you. You helped the wrong person, and now, your life, the version you thought was safe, predictable, righteous, is about to be ripped open like a classified file under a flickering light. Because sometimes, the devil doesn't come to destroy you. He comes to upgrade you. You remember the day, don't you? That little act of kindness, that one favor, that one conversation where you said, "Sure, I'll help." You thought you were saving someone broken. You had no idea you were handing a mirror to the storm that was going to unmake you. You thought I was weak. You thought I was lost. You thought you were helping a soul crawling through the dark. But what you were really doing was unlocking a door no one had the clearance to open. See, there's a pattern you never noticed. The kind-hearted always underestimate the monsters they heal. They think pain turns people soft. No pain turns people precise. And kindness? Kindness gives the monster a reason to sharpen his claws. You helped me once, you offered light. Now that same light burns through your walls like a surgical laser, because I don't forget, and I don't forgive. I transform. You call it chaos. I call it correction. You call it madness. I call it balance. You call it revenge. I call it evolution. You see, the difference between an angel and a demon is not morality, it's timing. Both kneel before the same fire. One calls it hell, the other calls it rebirth. You helped the wrong person. You thought you were lighting a candle, but you sparked a revolution that doesn't sleep, doesn't beg, and doesn't bleed the way you do. Let's be honest. You didn't help me out of compassion. You helped me because you needed to feel like the good one. You needed to be seen as the savior in someone else's tragedy. That's the human addiction, isn't it? Validation disguised as virtue. But the universe doesn't care about your intentions. It only cares about transactions. And when you gave me your time, your empathy, your help, you made a deal with something that doesn't use ink or blood. It uses consequence. Now the payment's due. You see, I don't destroy people. I reveal them. I pull the masks off with surgical precision. I whisper the kind of truth that makes saints shiver and devils smile. And when I say your life is about to change, I don't mean a promotion, a miracle, or a blessing. No. I mean the world is about to see you naked, stripped of your filters, your excuses, your carefully curated morality. Because helping me wasn't a mistake. It was a summoning. You fed a starving wolf once, and now the pack knows your scent. You stitched up a bleeding soldier, and now you're on every wanted list that matters. You touched the fire thinking it was dying, and now it follows you like a loyal hound. That's the irony of good deeds. They echo louder in hell than in heaven. And here's the real punchline. I'm not your enemy. I'm your graduation. Every naive version of you that thought kindness was a shield. Gone. Every innocent belief that good things happen to good people. Buried. You helped me, and now you will never be the same. You'll walk into rooms differently. You'll hear words that others miss. You'll see the hidden intentions bleeding through people's smiles. You'll feel the lies before they even form. Because that's what I gave you in return. Not gratitude, vision. You helped the wrong person. And that's exactly how you meet the right version of yourself. The ruthless one, the strategic one, the one that doesn't apologize for burning bridges that were never safe to cross. The one that smiles while the room trembles. The one that finally realizes that chaos was never your punishment. It was your teacher. So here's what happens next. Every person who underestimated you will start to panic. Every system that thought it had you categorized will start to glitch. Every voice that called you too kind, too soft, too emotional will start whispering your name like a warning. Because they'll see it. That look in your eyes. That calm before a storm that doesn't negotiate. You helped the wrong person, and that's the twist. Because that wrong person was you. Every time you poured your energy into someone who didn't deserve it. Every time you gave love to people who weaponized it. Every time you healed others while bleeding yourself dry. You were training for this. You weren't helping them. You were forging you. So go ahead. Let them call you unpredictable. Let them call you dangerous. Let them call you insane. Because unpredictability is just the polite word for power they can't measure. And insanity, that's what they call clarity, when it finally stops asking for permission. You helped the wrong person, and now they're about to change your life, not with gratitude, not with mercy, but with awakening. Welcome to your new era, where every scar is a strategy, every betrayal is an asset, and every act of kindness is a weapon. Oh, you thought that was the end? No, no, that was the invitation. The show starts now. Because when you help the wrong person, you don't just rewrite their life. You trigger a chain reaction that collapses everything predictable about your world. You don't realize it yet, but something inside you has already started humming. That faint vibration in your bones, that restless whisper when you close your eyes. That's not paranoia. That's awakening. They always warn you about helping the bad ones, don't they? But what they never tell you is that sometimes the bad ones carry the blueprints to your evolution. They carry the lesson that burns away your false goodness, your fake modesty, your fear of being misunderstood. You helped me once, and now I'm here to rebuild you from the ruins of your kindness. You see, you used to believe in balance. You thought good and evil were on opposite sides of the chessboard. You thought if you stayed pure, life would spare you. How cute. But what if I told you that both sides report to the same master? That angels and demons are just different uniforms worn by the same force? Necessity? And you? You just became one of its favorite experiments. Do you remember how you used to flinch when someone raised their voice? How you used to second-guess every decision, praying you didn't hurt anyone's feelings? Not anymore. That part of you. It's decomposing. Every ounce of self-doubt is dissolving in acid, because you finally understand what the rest never will. You can't save everyone without sacrificing yourself. And when you run out of pieces to give, the only thing left to offer is your rage. Look around. Everyone's performing. Everyone's pretending. But you're done playing saint in someone else's circus. You don't want applause. You want results. You don't want peace. You want proof. And that's the problem. People mistake your silence for weakness. They don't realize silence is the sound of the sniper's breath before the shot. You helped me once, and now you're the reason I remember what power tastes like. But here's the paradox. In helping me, you infected yourself with the very same virus. Now you crave control. You crave chaos. Not for destruction, but for design. You've learned to weaponize unpredictability, to make your stillness terrifying, to turn every insult into fuel, every betrayal into choreography. They called you soft once. Now they flinch when you smile. Because somewhere between mercy and madness, you found your formula. And that formula? It's lethal. It goes like this. Pain plus awareness equals weapon. Empathy plus boundaries equals power. Chaos plus focus equals God mode. You used to pray for peace. Now you pray for precision. Because you finally understand, peace was never your destiny. You were built for impact. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you've grown cold. They'll say you lost your heart. No, darling. You upgraded it. You replaced emotion with execution. You replaced fantasy with focus. You replaced attachment with alignment. You are not heartless. You are strategic. Every time they laughed at you, doubted you, pitied you, you were documenting. Every betrayal, you archived it. Every fake friend, logged and indexed. You turned your suffering into a classified library of psychological warfare. And when the time came, you opened the file. Now they're panicking because they realize the one they used to underestimate has intel. You know how they move, how they lie, how they sleep. You've mapped their habits, their weaknesses, their tells. You're not seeking revenge. You're conducting an audit. But here's the real tragedy for them. The more they try to destroy you now, the more they advertise your importance. Because no one wages war against the irrelevant. They call you obsessive. They call you dangerous. They call you dramatic. But deep down, they're terrified because you've stopped asking for permission to exist. And maybe that's what it means to help the wrong person. Maybe it means you accidentally woke up the one soul who remembered the rules were fake, the one who doesn't wait for destiny, the one who writes it. Let's not pretend anymore. You didn't help me out of kindness. You helped me because you sensed something familiar. You saw a reflection, not a victim, but a version of you that had stopped hiding. And now that reflection is standing in front of you, asking a question you've been avoiding your entire life. Who would you be if you finally stopped being afraid of what happens when you stop being good? You helped the wrong person, and now the wrong person is showing you what real freedom looks like. It's not love, it's not peace, it's not forgiveness. It's clarity. Clarity that you owe nobody your energy. Clarity that mercy is not a reflex, it's a choice. Clarity that walking away isn't weakness, it's warfare. You don't need to prove your goodness anymore. You've already proved your endurance, and that's the only proof that ever mattered. Because anyone can smile when they're winning, but only the ones who've walked through fire with a grin. They're the ones who scare gods. So here's your final lesson. Don't apologize for what your kindness created. Don't regret helping the wrong person, because sometimes the wrong person was just the universe wearing a mask, waiting to hand you your origin story. Now every step you take will echo with something the old you never had. Certainty. Certainty that you're not here to heal everyone. You're here to unsettle the comfortable and awaken the forgotten. You helped the wrong person, and that wrong person turned out to be your fate in disguise. Now they'll watch as you walk away. Golden light behind you, no remorse in your stride, and a quiet smile that says, I'm not the villain. I'm the consequence. You can feel it now, can't you? That slow, electric crawl beneath your skin, like your own soul is remembering its password. It's not fear, it's activation, because once you help the wrong person, you never go back to normal. Normal dies the second chaos recognizes your kindness. And oh, chaos remembers. Every soul you helped, every secret you carried, every scar you covered. They all whispered to the universe the same message. This one's too pure to stay untouched. So the universe smiled and sent me, not as punishment, but as revelation, because purity without danger is useless. Light without darkness has no definition. Kindness without consequence has no spine. And you were always meant to grow teeth. You think this is about betrayal? No, this is about transformation. You think I came to destroy your peace? No, I came to upgrade your perception. You thought the world was made of good people and bad ones. But the truth is, it's made of predators and prey, and kindness, without awareness, turns you into a feast. You fed me once, you thought it was compassion, but what you really did was baptize yourself in my fire. You didn't help the wrong person, you activated the right curse. Now look at you, unrecognizable. Your softness still exists, but it's wrapped in barbed wire now. Your heart still beats, but it has rhythm, not hesitation. You smile, but there's calculation behind it. You listen, but now you hear motives, not just words. And somewhere deep down, you like it, don't you? That power, that calm, that certainty that nobody, and I mean nobody, can manipulate you again without tasting regret. That's not corruption, that's evolution. You know what they'll call you now? Cold, detached, egomaniac, unforgiving, good, let them. Because those words are just the vocabulary of people who benefited from your confusion. They want the version of you that never questioned, never resisted, never said no. But that version's gone, buried beneath the battlefield where your empathy learned to wear armor. You helped the wrong person, and in return, that person handed you something priceless. Clarity soaked in venom. Clarity that tells you when someone's lying before they even open their mouth. Clarity that makes you feel energy shifts in a room before the conversation begins. Clarity that lets you see through smiles like glass. You see, that's the cruel beauty of helping the wrong one. You get hurt once, but you never bleed the same way twice. Let me tell you a secret. Every so-called villain was once a healer who helped the wrong soul too many times. Every dark mind started as a bright one that got used as a power source for ungrateful parasites. And eventually, kindness turns into something far more dangerous, understanding. Because once you understand the game, you stop playing fair. You learned the rules, then you burned them. You stopped waiting for apologies that were never coming. You stopped trying to prove your worth to people allergic to accountability. You stopped rescuing those who enjoyed drowning. And when that happened, when you finally withdrew your light from the unworthy, something ancient woke up inside you. Not evil, not cruelty, but precision. You learned to watch without reacting, to calculate without speaking, to smile while studying the weakness in every handshake, every compliment, every "I missed you." They can't read you anymore, and that terrifies them, because unpredictability is the one currency control freaks can't counterfeit. You've become what they fear most, a mirror that remembers everything. You helped the wrong person, and now your empathy has evolved into intel. Your heartbreak has mutated into data. Your silence, that's reconnaissance. And your absence, that's psychological warfare. You don't chase, you don't prove, you don't plead, you observe. You've mastered the ancient art of letting people dig their own graves while thanking you for the shovel. And yet, you're not bitter. That's what confuses them most. They expect vengeance, not composure. They expect fire, not focus. But you learn something that only pain can teach. Revenge is loud. Evolution is silent. Because the real punishment isn't what you do to them. It's what you become in spite of them. Look at you, composed, calculated, completely unreadable. They'll whisper, "Something's off about them." No, sweetheart. Something's on. For the first time in your life, everything's on. Your instincts, your awareness, your power. You helped the wrong person. And the price of that mistake was awakening. Let them say you changed. You did. Let them call you heartless. You're not. You just learned to guard your pulse like treasure. Let them think you've lost faith. You haven't. You've just stopped confusing forgiveness with stupidity. You were never meant to be an angel. You were meant to be the storm angels whisper about. The one who descended with mercy and left with a crown. The one who stopped waiting for permission to exist. The one who learned that sometimes saving yourself looks like betrayal to those who built their peace on your silence. You helped the wrong person, and now you've become the right weapon. A weapon made of empathy, precision, and patience. A weapon that doesn't destroy, it exposes. A weapon that doesn't strike, it reveals. You're not their savior anymore. You're their mirror, and mirrors don't lie. So here's the part nobody tells you. Helping the wrong person isn't the curse. It's the initiation. It's the ritual that burns the illusions, refines the instinct, awakens the strategist. It's the trial by fire that turns kind into dangerous, that turns nice into necessary, that turns forgiving into formidable. You helped the wrong person, and because of that, you will never move like the crowd again. You will never see like the blind again. You will never love without wisdom again. Every room you enter will feel it. That quiet, surgical calm that says, I've already been to the edge. I know what happens there, and I came back wearing the smoke. So go ahead, let them call you the villain, because every villain was once a hero with better information. Let them paint you in shadows, because darkness is where the strategists live. Let them whisper your name with caution, because legends are only born when warnings are ignored. You helped the wrong person, and now you've become the story they'll tell their children. The one that starts with, don't mess with them, because they once tried to bury you and didn't realize you were planting surveillance cameras in the dirt. So smile, because the universe didn't punish you, it promoted you. It took your softness, sharpened it, and handed it back as a crown forged in consequence. You helped the wrong person, and now that person has rewritten your entire mythology. You're not the victim, you're the plot twist, and every empire that underestimated you just became the next chapter of your revenge, disguised as rebirth. Remember, mercy made you human, betrayal made you divine.